Two UFC champions, one battling blindness from a brutal eye injury, the other dragged into court over explosive family accusations, now threaten to stall the division wars just as the promotion prepares its next mega event. With Joe Rogan warning that Tom Aspinall may never return, and legal fallout ensnaring Ilia Topuria and even Rogan himself, the stakes for UFC 324 have never been higher. How did the world's top mixed martial arts organization end up at the center of such chaos? Joe Rogan didn't hold back when he described the aftermath of Tom Aspinall's injury on his podcast. The heavyweight champion, fresh off a title defense at UFC 321, now faces the kind of medical crisis that can end a career overnight. Aspinall's right eye, damaged by Cyril Gane's accidental poke, still hasn't recovered. Even months after the fight, he says he can't see properly out of that eye. The issue is not just blurred vision. Doctors found tendon damage that complicates everything. The Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane thing was a fucking disaster. Tom Aspinall still can't see. He's got a fucked up right eyeball still, Rogan said. Aspinall already underwent one surgery and faces another in mid-January. The uncertainty is real. Rogan warned, the reality is he might not ever fight again. Like, who knows? He also pointed out there is tendon damage and that eyes are tricky and that the injury is worse than most people realize. Every day out of the gym pushes the biggest men in the UFC further into uncertainty. With the heavyweight belt in limbo, the division feels more vulnerable than ever. Ilia Topuria, UFC lightweight champion, faces a different kind of battle outside the cage. On January 7th, a court in Móstoles, Spain, will decide the custody of his young daughter with estranged wife Georgina Uzcategui Badel. The hearing, held at the Court of Violence Against Women No. 1, has drawn headlines for allegations of domestic and gender violence, but Topuria insists the case centers on custody, not criminal abuse. He claims the accusations are an attempt at extortion, stating, "In recent months, I have suffered intolerable situations and pressures, threatening to spread unfounded accusations of mistreatment that would only disappear in exchange for money." Spanish law routes all custody disputes involving such allegations through specialized courts, even when the main issue is parental rights. The situation took another turn when Badel named Joe Rogan in her formal complaint. According to reports from El Mundo, Rogan discussed a doctored image of Badel on his podcast, calling her a monster and fueling a wave of online harassment. The complaint alleges Rogan's commentary contributed to reputational harm, adding a new layer of scrutiny for the UFC's most prominent voice. As the legal process unfolds, the lightweight division remains on hold, with the UFC creating an interim title to keep the division active while Topuria's future is decided. UFC 324 is set to break the stalemate, bringing the lightweight spotlight back to the cage. Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett will headline in Las Vegas on January 24, 2026, as the Paramount Plus era kicks off with no pay-per-view required. The stakes are clear, with Ilia Topuria sidelined. The winner claims the next shot at the throne. Gaethje, entering his 6th UFC title fight, comes in with a record of 26 wins and 5 losses. He told ESPN Deportes, "I know that the fans probably want Paddy and Ilia like they wanted Tony and Khabib, and I'm gonna fuck it up, and that's my job." Pimblett, undefeated in the UFC at 7-0, faces his first title fight pressure. The card is stacked. Kayla Harrison faces Amanda Nunes for the women's bantamweight title, with Nunes returning from retirement. Every bout on this card feels like a reset, with new rivalries and dream matchups ready to shape the year ahead. Daniel Cormier didn't mince words when he heard Jake Paul was calling out Francis Ngannou. Paul, still recovering from a jaw broken in several places after his last fight with Anthony Joshua, went straight to social media to label Ngannou low-key soft and to question his chin. Cormier, speaking on his YouTube channel, questioned whether Paul understands the risk he's flirting with. Francis doesn't know how to control and make sure the punches don't put your lights out. I think he needs to reconsider. Cormier's respect for Paul's courage is real. He admits, "You can never question the boldness of Jake Paul. You could never question the toughness of Jake Paul. I question his smarts. The size gap is enormous, and Ngannou's reputation for power is unmatched. With Paul out until at least mid-2026 for medical clearance, the idea of a heavyweight showdown is more spectacle than reality. Cormier sums it up: MMA math does not work, and I don't think it works in boxing either. New faces are already making waves as the UFC calendar fills up. Ateba Gauthier, just 23 years old from Cameroon, enters 2026 with a 9-1 record and 8 stoppages, 3 of those coming in the very first round in 2025. He is set for a middleweight prospect clash at UFC 324, training out of Manchester top team and drawing attention as a potential future contender. In the women's bantamweight division, Eduarda Cavalcanti, now ranked in the top 10, continues her climb after a breakout 2025 campaign with Syndicate MMA. Mackenzie Mesquita, a 10-time Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion who is undefeated in MMA at 6-0, sharpens her skills at American top team and looks ready for a title run. With fighters like these on the rise, the UFC's next era promises fresh rivalries, new styles, and the possibility of division shakeups as the season unfolds. The 2026 schedule is packed and momentum is building. In MMA, a single moment can upend careers and reshape divisions. Every headline now isn't just news, it's the next turning point. The future waits for no champion. Drop your thoughts below.